It was a beautiful day on the lakefront. The Bears offense, yeah, it's still a work in progress. But their head coach, the honesty, super refreshing. I got my buddy here. We're in studio. Gregory, the CHGO Bears Podcast starts right now. Welcome in to a Sunday version of the CHGO Bears Podcast. Thank you very much. After a family fest extravaganza, Greg Braggs was the first guy in there today, lined up at the gate. What time were you there? 7 a.m., 7:30? What was it?
About 9:30 or
9:30.
so. Nothing crazy.
Were you the first one in the building?
No, but we tried. Gates opened at 10. It was a nice time. You know, Family Fest for me is one of my favorite days of the year because I do bring my family, even though we still have a job to do in covering the team and stuff. But I brought my mom and my daughter and my wife, and, you know, to be able to bring my 7-year-old to the stadium and show her, you know, what it's all about to be a Bears fan. You know, I don't get to go to as many games anymore and things like that. So to be able to take her to Soldier Field and kind of take that in with her was a lot of fun. And it's one of those rare opportunities you can bring a kid to an environment like that where it's not as crazy as a game day. Yeah,
it was a ton of fun out there today. CHGO training camp coverage powered by Circa Sports Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And I got to tell you, shout out, as always, to our friend Derek Stevens and the fine people at Circa making this all possible. Listen, I'll probably get into this in a little bit on the show, but it was just fun to be at Soldier Field today. The energy was so much different. It was great to be in the city. And, yeah, the Bears should stay in the city. But that's not why you're here to start the show, but I really enjoyed being there today. As we do in training camp, we start out with our best and worst. And as you see, we got Montez Sweat and the defense stand as our headline today. So it was a good day for the defense, not great for the offense, at least mostly. But let's as we did yesterday, Gregory, let me have you lead off with your best and worst. I thought you did such a good job that I would like you to go first again today. Give me your best, give me your worst on what was a choppy day.
How kind of you. That's very nice.
Thank
very
you.
Gentlemanly of you on a beautiful day here in Chicago. Yeah, obviously we're going to get into some of the offense and, you know, didn't exactly have the Sunday that they've had, you know, here the previous 4 or 5 days at training camp. But that was because the defense played a really good day. They responded. I saw somebody tweet, all right, Dennis Allen's had enough. You know, the offense every day is the highlight. Well, today the defense was, and honestly, when you talk about some of the different pressures being created by the defensive line, I thought a lot of that was because Dennis Allen was dialing up some pretty interesting blitzes, and we've seen that here at training camp thus far, but you're bringing in a lot of different guys, you know, whether it's the linebackers and Tremaine Edmonds or TJ Edwards, or some of these exotic blitzes with the corners, and you're seeing Kyler Gordon getting sent to the quarterback a lot here. And today you saw that once again, either coming up the middle. Yesterday you saw that where he blew up DeAndre Swift. I think the Bears shared that on their social media accounts. And then today coming off the edge at certain points and just creating havoc that then becomes a trickle-down effect for other guys to get into the action, like Montez Sweat, who had a big day as well. So I just think we're starting to figure out what Dennis Allen's defensive identity is going to be, and it's extremely aggressive. Yes, you're going to play press outside, as you know, from a secondary standpoint, and the corners are going to be playing press man, but the defense is going to be attacking at all times and really putting the onus and putting the offense, you know, on their heels. So I find that intriguing because, you know, gone are the days of, you know, Eberflus or the cover two that we're so accustomed to here in Chicago, where they just expect the front four to win and everybody else, you know, do their job. No, we're going to create pressure. We're going to create havoc, and that's going to then create a trickle-down effect where other guys can make plays. So excited to see that continue.
Yep.
the worst of the day, no question. You can talk about offensive struggles or whatever in terms of, executing a pass or, a block here, whatever. They couldn't get in and out of the huddle today. The first team series, 11 on 11s to start the day, they had 2 delay of games in 4 plays. They ended up with 3 delay of games for the entire day for the first team offense. Adam Hogue has highlighted this before, that this has been a reoccurring theme here at training camp. And Caleb Williams has been lauded by Declan Doyle and Ben Johnson and everybody about how dialed in he's been to his pre-snap responsibilities. But today they took a step back with that. And Cole Kmet talked about it. We'll hear a little bit of audio here later where, whatever the reason was, but being at Soldier Field, the fans being in the stands, it wasn't 62,000 fans there. So, crowd noise couldn't have been that much of an issue. They did dial up the music, on the loudspeakers as they do at training camp, but it's a little different at a stadium. But for whatever reason, I feel like the atmosphere today is part of the reason they were thrown off. Certainly no excuses. It was just my observation. And for whatever reason, and Ben Johnson said it afterwards, it was sloppy, and the operations just were not on point for the offense.
Yep, all fair stuff. And I'm going to be a little bit of a carbon copy here. But let's. My best today was actually the head coach in his press conference, because he was asked about the delay of games, and we'll play the sound coming up here, and he was asked about the offense not being as smooth. And in the past, you'd get some answer that would not acknowledge that it even happened. This guy, we're not going to win a lot of games doing that. It's got to be better. Like, he has an ability to be honest, and and when he's able to do it with the media, that means he's also doing it with his players, which is why I think you're just hearing a lot of positivity coming his way, because they know they can trust this guy. They know he's got the brain power to do it, and I just think he's shooting him straight. So just having this guy, I just want to underline it again for myself and for everybody else. It's such a game changer to have somebody who is a head coach who seems like he knows what he's doing and can be honest and will garner a ton of respect, you would think, more and more over time as he gets even more and more juice, because hopefully the Bears will be winning a lot of games and the evidence will be there that, hey, I'm following that guy. So just Ben's honesty in the press conference today I thought was the best part of the day. Side note to, of course, my guy Tyson Bagent with the bullet down to J.P. Richardson for the 50-yard touchdown. That was sweet. But I thought, Ben was my best today. The worst, where I'm going to dovetail on it, it's what I said earlier in the week. It's a 2-step forward. It's a 1-step back. It's, you should not be seeing the same stuff where, there was one play today where, Caleb's trying to audible late, and I was like actually excited about it, that he was going into the audible mode, and he knew that he had to do something different. And then he looked up at the clock, and then he went to call timeout, and it was too late because, the play clock had spun out and, delay a game again. But so there was, even in that moment, if I'm going to spin it slightly positive, you could see his brain eventually getting to where he needed to go. And then he also realized, oh no, I'm probably late in the play clock. Then he checked it, tried to call timeout, didn't happen. But this they should be, in theory, if you're talking about hitting the ground running come Monday night and Minnesota, you would like to see a little bit more ironed out to this point, because that's just the first part of it. Now you got to actually complete passes and do everything else.
Robert Lee said in the chat, what does Ben call it? High school Harry crap.
Right.
And he says another word for crap, and I'll save it for the fans to understand.
Right.
But yeah, it's high school Harry, and the details for Ben Johnson matter. And I was having some back and forth with fans on Twitter about this, and everybody, it's easy just from a rationalization standpoint to say, well, of course they're not ready. It's the second week of training camp, and, the season's, still a month away. But Ben Johnson is not going to do that. Ben Johnson is not going to make those excuses and chalk it up to just being early. He is holding this team to a much higher standard, and they have told Caleb Williams, hey, man, you got to get in and out of the huddle. You got to get to the line of scrimmage, because to be able to identify those things and then make the calls before the clock runs out, that's why you got to get out of the huddle.
Right. And look, if you're just watching them, and for the people that came out today or the people that have been in training camp, you just see too often, and we'll get into the good part about this, which is the defense, which hopefully is emerging here and will have a big time impact. But you just see Caleb and Tyson and even Case, although less Case because he doesn't exactly have that foot speed, but they're running for their life back there a lot. It's just not exactly how it should look, and and then so you're running for your life. Here come the delay of games. They have one play where where they get up to the line and you could see that they're watching what the defense is doing. They go to the can here. 95% of the time, it seems, when they do this, if you're paying attention, they're going to go run the ball. So I wonder if that will get a little bit more creative as it goes along here, because if you're a defense and you're always seeing that the quarterback's doing that and the Bears always are running it, that's going to be a big time telltale. So I'm sure that will change over time.
I also think that in open practices and certainly an open one at Soldier Field, Ben Johnson's not going to show his hand very hard. He's not going to show it in preseason games either. Show his hand in terms of some of the checks at the line of scrimmage or play calls in general.
Yeah,
I've actually got a theory on this.
Okay, let's go.
Because this was my first practice that I got to see with Ben Johnson, as head coach. I saw more pre-snap motion than I've ever seen in any practice in my life.
Yep.
I think that's really intentional, and I think it's Ben Johnson trying to force Caleb to process everything more quickly.
The whole offense too, right?
Exactly, and put him in that position where, hey, if you don't get this done quickly enough, now you do get that delay of game. Because I think it's notable that of the 3 delay of game penalties, all 3 were on the first team offense. It wasn't happening with the second or third string. I think that's Ben Johnson trying to kind of throw Caleb into the fire. It's like, you got to react to this right now. Similarly to how they did earlier this training camp when they were letting blitzes go unblocked on purpose to see how he would react to it.
Right. Well, and to that point, as I was walking out today and just thinking about it, and I've been having the same thought actually. I've been walking out. This is probably the 17th time I've done this in training camp. At some point, Ben is going to realize this is what we're good at. This is what we're not good at. Let's lean into what the Bears can do, QB and everything else, and let's try to win that way. So he's not going to – I don't think he's going to go into week 1 and overrun Caleb with a zillion plays and challenge him to try to get through it to see how he handles it. I think he's going eventually. He's going to be like, okay, we can do this, we can't do that. We can do this, we can do that. And, maybe that playbook in year 1 of Ben and Caleb is super small, but maybe Caleb is just good enough that, hey, in this zone, I can handle these things, and I am that talented that I can get away in this, and I do have this cannon of an arm that even if we don't have the full playbook in here, this offense can still function because I'm talented and I got a lot of talented people around me.
Right, but he has to be careful with that because at one point when he got flushed out of the pocket and just chucked it up for anyone to come down with it should have been an interception. Tyler Scott rips it out of the defender's hands as they're falling to the ground. Luckily, he saves a pick.
Rome did the same thing.
That was an ill-advised throw that, I promise you in film, Ben's going to be like, we're not doing that.
Right.
But that's where when you talk about Caleb trying to rely on his talent, maybe some frustration there because things weren't going well early on and he just chucks it up. I get it's practice, so it doesn't count, but you know what? You play how you practice. So you got to simulate throwing that ball out of bounds.
Right. Exactly. That ball needs to go out of bounds. Period. End of story. This is, practice how you play, be great everywhere, all the things. Just fire it out of bounds, dude. Off your back foot, across your body, throwing it up to the moon and hoping it lands in one of your receiver's hands. That's potential disaster that just live to play another day. All right, let's get into what matters most today. And look, the defense had a good day, and Montez Sweat from the start of the day, his bounce on the field was real. We got to be down there for about 30 minutes just watching him warm up, and Sweat's out there and he's barking all over the place. Then he had a big day, and Dennis Allen being creative. These guys were running free. Pressure was on the quarterback all day. It was not an easy day to be a Bears quarterback.
No, it wasn't. I mean, and as I said, I think that the blitzing that Dennis Allen dials up, I think Montez Sweat is going to be a big beneficiary from this because then it creates havoc on the line, and now Montez Sweat can win some of these one-on-ones as guys are shifting around trying to contain whoever's coming through. the B gap or around the edge, whatever. And now Montez Sweat's got an opportunity to make some plays. You've already seen that here the last few days, as he closed out a 2-minute series, the other day, and then today as well. There's a blitz up the middle. Montez Sweat now is chasing, I believe, Tyson Bagent on the outside and was able to corral him in. And then there was another point where he blew up a jet sweep on Luther Burden. So I think that we need Montez. If this Bears team is going to be what we all need it to be, then Montez Sweat has to be what he was today, and that's dominant. And they brought this guy in a couple years ago, gave up a 2nd-round pick, and if you're going to make that worth it from Ryan Poles' standpoint, you've got to be a standout defensive end. You've got to be able to get 10-plus sacks on the year. You've got to be the best player on this defense. That includes great players like Jalen Johnson and others and Kyler Gordon. But because it starts in the trenches. And Montez Sweat has to be a game wrecker, not just a game changer, a game wrecker for the Chicago Bears team. And if he can do that, then they'll have a really good season.
Yeah, look, we all hope that the offense is going to pop off, and it's going to be amazing. And Luther Burden's going to be catching passes, and Colston Loveland's going to have a huge rookie year, and DJ's going to get back to close to the level that he was when Justin was here, and Rome's going to take a big step forward, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the Bears to be a playoff team this year with the most likely scenario that the offense is not fully functioning week 1, and it does take some time mid-season after the bye, I think would be a hopeful realism, like that they get through the first 4, they take a little bit of a breather, they come back after the bye week, after an amazing trip to Vegas, truefantravel.com, come with us, and it is that much better, and it progresses. The Bears are going to need the defense to look like the 2018 Bears defense if they're really going to be a playoff team in a very competitive division. Montez Sweat is going to have to be a hell of a player this year. Same thing for you, Dio. Same thing for the safeties, who, by the way, same thing for you, Dennis Allen. They sent a safety blitz today. Byard and Brisker both coming after the quarterback. Kyler Gordon is doing his thing. They're playing these guys all over. We still don't know who's going to be the Mike and who's going to be the Will, but with Tremaine and TJ Edwards. So this guy, Dennis is trying to be as creative as possible to make this defense as impactful as possible. And the bottom line, if you're being honest about where things are at, they're going to need it, especially early in the season. That defense better be there,
100%.
or else, because if they're giving up 30, it's going to be big problems.
100%. You're going to dial up safety blitzes. You're going to dial up corner blitzes. Well, your defensive line still has to win. Because they're going to try to course correct and then say, all right, we're going to block these other guys coming in. Well, now Montez Sweat has to win. And he did today, and that's an encouraging sign of how this thing can all look. And you're 100% right. Week 1 against a rookie quarterback, you got to dominate J.J. McCarthy, right? Week 3 against the Dallas Cowboys at home, you got to dominate the Dallas Cowboys and show Matt Eberflus how defense should be ran around here. Week 4 against the Raiders, you got to win that game. And the defense might have to scratch and claw some wins out before they get to the bye week after week 4, and then the offense is kind of able to reassess and recalibrate where they're at.
Yeah. All of that. And by the way, Grady Jarrett had a decent day today too. He was spotted in the backfield a couple of times. Shout out 50. You hopefully that'll be a big time influencer. All right. This is what we do, King Book of World. It is training camp and we react. And we're also aware that it's not a game day. But this was it was a great day out there today. And this is what you're seeing. This is the fun. This is the fun of it all. All right. When we come back, we're going to hear from the Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson on the sloppy practice. Ben Johnson on the successful part of practice. Ben Johnson on the delay of games. Big Bad Ben coming up. But first, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet
365.
That's right. They've got the MLB early payout offer. The Cubs are about to get hot again, maybe. Listen, you're a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs or more. By the way, the White Sox are winning a lot of games, too. Maybe go that way. With an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So if they go up by 5, you get paid in, the 4th inning. Download the app, use the code CHGO365 and sign up. And breaking news from Bet365, new customers, you get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. This is sweet. Use the code CHGO 365 at sign up. Deposit $10. Make a bet for $5. $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Player props, futures, spread, and more, whatever the moment. Never ordinary at Bet365. You do have to be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
That's right. Want to give a shout out to our friends over at Four Seasons. Our guys, we appreciate them. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Now is the time to get your air conditioning checked out, and Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. That's what they do. So schedule your Four Seasons AC tune-up today. Save $50 and enjoy a 1-year no breakdown guarantee. Save up to $4,000 on a new comfort system with Four Seasons. New AC units from $39 a month, and AC furnace combos for $57 a month. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com and get all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Call Four Seasons.
Hit the like button for the Gregory. Beautiful voice, just so incredibly
Angelic.
Yeah, soft,
If I may.
angelic. Just, I can understand why you're.
Hit the like button for Justin Turner saving the rest of my mood for the day.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Walk-off home run for the Cubs.
And more importantly, hit the like button for Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson, save us, Ben Johnson, you're our only hope. Save us, Ben Johnson, you're our only hope. We love you, Ben Johnson. Let's hear from Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, how'd it go today? It's pretty sloppy. It wasn't great. Let's actually hear him say it. Here was Ben after Family Fest today.
We got some good work in. It was sloppy, sloppier than I'm probably hoping we would be at this point. Particularly, we had a couple really good practices over the last two, and then took us a little while to get going and hear the pads clicking. But I thought towards the end we picked it up, and it got pretty competitive there.
So there you go. It was sloppy. There's the honesty. I'm not going to completely run you guys down. Last couple of practices were good. And then, by the way, at the end, in the 2-minute, it looked a whole lot better. Caleb was able to throw a touchdown pass in the 2-minute. So, but I just like that he's calling it out, man.
Yeah.
Straight hit, sloppy.
Yeah, and as I said, I would encourage fans. I get the knee-jerk reaction, especially if you're watching a show like this, and depending on how you view the way media covers this team. At the end of the day, it was a sloppy practice. So when it's reported that way, that doesn't mean that that's an indication or, is now going to have hey, this is what they're going to be the rest of the year. This is how they're going to look week one. That's not what that means. But at the same time.
You're talking to yourself or Bears fans?
No, I'm talking to Bears fans because everybody, yes, we all understand it's 10 days into training camp. But I just think that as a fan base, I think we've always should have held this team to a higher standard, but now I just think that we need to hold this team to Ben Johnson's standard. Because as you said, he suffers no fools. And so he comes out there, he's not going to put rose-colored glasses on it. Doesn't mean that the season's over today because they had a sloppy practice. It just means they had a sloppy practice. Like you said, 2 steps forward on Thursday and Saturday, 1 step backward here today. So they, keep trying to stack the days. Got a joint practice coming up on Friday. I think they are going to start going into game week mode here these next couple weeks. But, I just don't think there's any reason to get defensive over the fact that it wasn't good. Yes, we all understand it's early, but, it'll be week 1 before you know it.
Yeah, don't get defensive, Bears fans. It's okay. I'm with you. Ben, keep on speaking the honesty. What about here was Ben on what successful practices have looked like?
Well, I think they're all successful from the degree of we're learning, and so just because we're not getting the yards on offense or giving up touchdowns on defense, I mean we are getting better as a team on both sides of the ball, all 3 phases, including I see special teams every day as well. So, I don't think there's any barometer or mark. I think we'll know a lot more about our team when we get these joint practices going too. I think that'll really tell us a lot because I think for a healthy team over the course of camp, you kind of feel the defense win the day one day, and then the offense bounce back the next day, and you kind of have those even battles. That's what you want from the good teams.
So, okay, there you go. A little bit of bounce back. And also that's a glass half full answer there. Like, just because we weren't great today, that doesn't mean it was unsuccessful. It could be very successful because we could have learned from it. Learning is good. Mm-hmm. What did you digest? Making the same mistakes twice, 3 times, 4 times, 8 times, that's not great, but perhaps there could be some good digestion from today. I can hear that.
Yeah, but as Ben likes to say, it's not about making a mistake. It's trying to avoid repeating those mistakes. And so delay of games, we talked yesterday about snapping the football has been an issue each day. So I just think from an execution of plays and how they're running routes and how Caleb's throwing the ball or getting chemistry with some of his receivers, that's fine. That's all, stuff that's going to continue to build upon itself each day. But the thing that they can control is the execution of the details, the execution of the process, and right now, not snapping the ball, delay games, things like that, they just have to be cleaned up. I don't care if it's first week of training camp or a week before this regular season. You got to have those things down.
Right. Well, let's hear what he has to say about the delay of games, because that has been a recurring theme, and it has happened basically every day of training camp. So, Ben, what about these delay of games?
It's something we're going to have to address for sure. It showed up more today than it has in practice. So this was more like a real game, and if it continues like that, we're not going to win many games.
There you go. If it continues like that, we're not going to win many games. The Bears are not good enough. They could just sit there and go and give up 5 yards and be moving backwards and get behind the chains. No, it can't happen. You're going to have to be a buttoned-up team. So.
And he didn't say, "No, we'll be all right. We got a long way till week 1." It's no, we got to fix this, or we're not going to win many games.
Well, and I do wonder. Like, look, he's got to be sitting there. Am I giving them too much? Because the long play call, this, that, and a whole lot to look at, and they're not handling it at times. So, do I give them less? Because I got to have my offense comfortable. I wonder what those conversations are. I'm sure they're happening.
Well, they've talked about throwing the kitchen sink at Caleb and the offense, right? And so I just think these first couple weeks are kind of like hell week, right? It's like when you join the Navy SEALs. In the first couple weeks, they try to bury you to build you back up. Like, I think that's where we were at here in the last week. But now I do anticipate here going forward they have the off day tomorrow, right? That was, so it was supposed to be a practice. Now they're saying it's going to be an off day. So I think that's now Ben Johnson pivoting to a game week mode type thing. That's what I'm anticipating is going to happen this week.
Probably a lot of film
lead
work.
up to the joint practice, lead up to the preseason game on Sunday, start dialing some certain things back and start honing in on what you can do and what you can't do. And then ultimately the final thing that we all want to know is, the answer of if they're going to decide at left tackle, which is certainly something I'd like to talk about today, but I don't know if we're going to talk about it here later.
We can get into it. He was asked on give me who your trusty receivers are. Who's the most trusty people out there? What are you seeing, Ben? And he always really takes his time with these questions and tries to, give you a fair answer on who's doing well. So this is who's Ben's most trustworthy receiver so far.
I think Cole Kmet, I think DJ Moore, I think Rome Odunze, those are the 3 that stand out to me first and foremost. I think OZ's doing a great job of being where he's supposed to be, and he's being a professional about it. The rookies, they're still learning, they're still growing, and they just haven't been out there enough to earn that trust yet. But I would say throughout the course of spring and camp so far, those are the 4 I'd bring up first.
So there you go. Shout out 85, shout out 14, shout out Rome, and shout out DJ. It would have been fairly bold for him to put Loveland in there. I don't know if you noticed this, Gregory, but there is something with Colston where I think one area where he can get a little bit better in, and by the way, I think that's right, he is a rookie and hasn't even played an NFL game yet. But one thing I'm seeing is that he doesn't get turned around at times fast enough. The ball is there. They're going to him. They're relying on him. And he hasn't quite gotten out of his break, so the ball's on him too quick. He doesn't have good eyes on it. And he's missing a couple opportunities where they're coming to him.
Yeah, he had a couple today that hit his hands, and he could have came down with it and didn't. Did finish the day with a touchdown on the 2-minute drill, which ran a really impressive route there. So work in progress. And I like that Ben Johnson highlighted the 4 guys he did. I like that he made sure to include Olamide Zaccheaus in that. At first he just had the 3, but Zaccheaus has certainly stood out here throughout the first 10 practices here at training camp. Steven?
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things I really liked about that last catch by Loveland for a TD was the very play before that. He had a very catchable ball in the end zone that I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a drop, but it was catchable. And then they went right back to him. Perfect ball, secures it, touchdown. I mean, for me, that was a really nice moment for him. Just saying, like, no, I could bounce right back from this, and I can secure this one if I get another chance.
Yeah, and if we're talking about guys, by the way, as far as who are not going to be responsible with delay of games, who are going to know exactly where they're supposed to be in the offense, X, Y, Z, wherever they use him, OZ seems like he's got this pretty well down. So, I mean, it's just I think it's a good comfort point for Ben, good comfort point for Caleb, good comfort point for Declan Doyle, whoever else you want to name. All right. We'll do a bunch on – well, we got to get to Cole, and I want to hear a couple more from Ben. I also want to hear a little bit on the defense. We'll hear from TJ Edwards coming up here on his linebacking role with Tremaine, because they're not, Will – Mike. You would think that this would be something that's decided, but it's not decided, which is interesting. TJ talked a little bit on that. We'll do that coming up, but first, shout out to our friends at Monarch Money. Start managing your finances to build the life you actually want. Don't worry about whether or not you can afford the next Taco Bell meal or whether you can go golfing. Use Monarch Money. Get to the next level. You want a clearer financial picture? I know you do, and I know Jenny does. Financial dreams could feel out of reach. No. They're right in reach for you, buddy. Monarch makes managing money simple, even for the busiest of lives, and you've got one over there, buddy. This is the top recommended finance app by users and experts with over 30,000 5-star reviews. Get control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code CHGO at monarchmoney.com in your browser. You get half off your first year. That is 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code CHGO. Track your spendings, your savings, your investments effortlessly so you can focus on what matters most, making your biggest life goals a reality.
Love it. And I also love our friends over at Empire Today, because just like your favorite team needs a home field advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage. And Empire Today has the flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. You go to those big box stores, they make you do everything yourself. Installation, calling the people, bring it home, haul it all. That's what they do. When you go to Empire Today, they take care of you because they live and breathe flooring. They're not a guy working bricklaying the day before. They are the people that are the professionals, and that's why you want to go to them.
That's
Get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered so there are no surprises, and schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard that right, a $350 discount when using code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/CHGO for full details.
All right. Let's get a little defense on here, Steven. Let's hear from TJ. You got a preference here, Mike, Will, TJ, Tremaine, TJ? Dime package, only one of them's going to be out there. Who would you rather have out there, Tremaine, TJ?
That's a tough one.
Is it?
Yeah, because TJ is great in coverage. He has the ability to really cover guys downfield, no question. But Tremaine,
Got that size?
Yeah, the length can be a problem, in the middle of the field. And if we're not playing cover 2, where, maybe the front 4 isn't getting home and there's more developing plays downfield, and you're talking about things that are going to have to come out a little faster, to have somebody that, disrupts like that and just makes it hard on the quarterback's vision of throwing windows, Like, I could see the advantage there as well. And Tremaine certainly needs a bounce-back year, but I do believe he has the ability to do that.
Have you discussed this at length with Lance Briggs yet?
No. It sounds like a great idea.
I think it'd be a great topic, and I'd like you to pull that clip and bring it back to CHGO Bears because I'd love to see where he's at. For me, maybe this is a little too basic. TJ's been a better player than Tremaine.
Hands down.
Put him in the middle. Let's go. Let him play the mic. And let's see if we can untap something that the Bears have been unable to find from Tremaine. To this point, I would be interested in seeing it. But at any rate, let's hear more importantly what TJ has to say about what's going on here as Dennis Allen is continuing to figure out how he wants to employ everybody on this defense.
I mean, I really don't know yet. I think we're kind of, both Tremaine and I are still kind of doing both. And honestly, it really helps us learn the defense and kind of just understand big picture-wise what we're doing. I think we're both comfortable in either role, but and as you know, as we start getting closer here, those things will start to get determined and decided in that way.
Yeah, and we don't have the clip, but I followed up with him like, hey, man, you know, you have no say in this, but, what do you prefer? And TJ's just such a good guy. He didn't really go further than, look, I've played both, but I've, played the mic a ton. That's what I'm used to. So I just wouldn't overlook the guy that makes 17,000 tackles, every single year. It's Johnny consistent. So I just think it's interesting that this is being talked about, and there's egos that are involved here too, but maybe that's not a whole big thing. One thing that was also not necessarily a big deal, but I thought was interesting is, and Cole Kmet talked about it, is that the Bears stayed at the team hotel last night. Let's stay in the city. Let's make it out like it's a game day. Let's take things seriously. Let's go next level. They haven't done that in the past. So Ben talks about here, why they went about their business the way they did. It's the middle of the training camp. Guys probably want to be at home, but let's have a night in the city. Let's get ready for game day.
Preseason zero game, if you will, by staying downtown last night. Special thank you to George and Kevin and Ryan get that done for us because the guys certainly they felt it. We go into next week, our first preseason game. Particularly the young guys, they get amped up a little bit. So hopefully a little familiarity with the process will calm the nerves a little bit, and then they can go out and play.
Just looking ahead, man.
I love that.
3 steps ahead, Ben Johnson. Damn it!
Leave no stone unturned. Right? It's a little thing, and I believe Cole said that they hadn't done that in a while or ever maybe under his career. I know he said I think the wording he said they hadn't done that in a while. So I'm assuming under Eberflus they didn't do that. But I really appreciate the attention to detail, and that I think continues to be the theme for Ben Johnson. And here it's a little thing, but just as a team, and especially the young players, you got a preseason game coming up in a week, staying at the hotel, learning what your sleep schedule is going to be, what your process is going to be, getting in and out, and just being ready for the day, then going to the stadium, getting in the locker room, all those things from an operations standpoint are it's underlooked, I think, by a fan base and underappreciated about how important that is to actually being prepared for, the actual game and trying to win. So it's a little thing, but I think it just continues to show just how much Ben Johnson values the details and implements them with his program.
Yeah, and there was absolutely a different energy out there today that the players could feel, which they would have felt if they had stayed, where they normally stay. But I love that they were out there. Let's get on the bus. Let's get them on over there. Let's run them out onto the field. Music's bumping. You could feel it. Cole actually talked about the fact that there was a little bit of a nervous energy today playing at Soldier Field for the first time in 2025.
Yeah, I thought we had 2 good days prior to this, and then I think today, I don't know, I kind of felt a little bit of nervous energy, maybe a little bit. Just kind of felt that from, maybe guys who are new or younger guys on the team, and first time out in the stadium, fans around, and I think that's a good thing for us to go through. And it did kind of feel like a little bit of a preseason game atmosphere in a sense, and I think those are good things to work through. I thought obviously the one offense we really started off slow there in our first rack, but I thought we picked it up along the way. Had some hiccups here and there, but definitely a lot more things that we need to clean up and be better with. But I think all in all, I think today some of it was maybe the nervous energy going around. And those are things that we got to work through, and we got to get fixed quickly here with preseason games coming up and then going into the season.
Did it give you
So I was basically foaming at the mouth when he was talking because I was like, oh, sweet. All this energy's coming because, it's at Soldier Field where the Bears belong. South Loop, Lakefront, Bears. Mm-hmm. Enough of this suburban malarkey.
I just loved the honesty there from Cole because at the stadium, I said it to Steven halfway through practice that they were playing. It felt like they were playing nervous. So then to hear Cole say that reaffirms kind of what I felt like I was seeing. Now, the one thing I'll say to that is what I felt like I was seeing, and now it's confirmed. But at the same time, like, there wasn't that many fans there.
There was 17 people there.
You know, like, and you pump up the music, it's at the stadium, and I get it. But, like, man, like, guys, you guys got it. And so this is why it's important that Ben Johnson did this and simulated this day and got it ready. And now we'll get to do it again for the preseason games 1, 2, and 3. And it's a build-up to week 1. But, man, guys, it really has to be hammered home. On Monday Night Football against the Vikings, that place is going to be a madhouse. Literally, people are going to be foaming at the mouth before that game starts. And you're going to run out that tunnel to something a lot of those players have never experienced before. If a day like today has got them, having a little bit of early season nerves and jitters, like, guys, let's get it. Let's dial in here because it's coming faster than you think.
Yeah, but yes and no, though. Like, Luther Burden played for the University of Michigan. He ran out of the tunnel.
No, Missouri, yes.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I meant
Colston.
I meant Colston Loveland played for the University of Michigan. He ran out of the tunnel at the Big House. Luther Burden played in the SEC in front of 100,000 people for the University of Missouri. This ain't. It'll be different because it's the NFL and it's Monday Night Football and all the things. But they ain't new to it. There's a reason that they've gotten this far, and part of the reason they've gotten that far is because they can play to the best of their abilities. Of course.
Playing at the Big House
the NFL is the NFL.
But you're locally important playing at the Big House. Like Colston Loveland walking around Michigan, everybody knows who he is, and he's got this pressure of everyone at Michigan needing him to play well. Yeah. But when you're playing on Monday Night Football,
and Greg Bragg's bringing down your neck,
you're not just getting local pressure. That's national audience looking at you.
Well, it's also
it's just a whole different beast, man.
Right. Well, it's more so it's the talent level that is coming at your ass.
That too.
Those are all NFL players on the other sideline. You ain't going against some dude who's now a banker. You're going against a guy who's making millions of dollars because he is just that good, and it's just. A big time uptick in competition. All right. Hey, Cole, let me follow up on that question and ask you about Soldier Field a little bit.
An extra bounce being in Chicago at Soldier Field today?
Yeah, it's the best. It's a lot of fun. The atmosphere was great. I thought the fans were great. You get the little breeze off the lake. Beautiful day today, so it was kind of fun. We ended up staying at the hotel last night, which was a little different from how we've done Family Fest in the past, and I thought that kind of just gave a good pregame feel to it all and pregame routine feel for everybody. So I thought that was good for everybody to go through before we actually do it here in a week or so.
Yeah. Wasn't that great when he said, it's the best? The breeze off the lake. Did you hear that? It's the best. And then TJ Edwards, what was it like being in there? Oh, my friends were hitting me up because they were at Lala, and I was like, guys, I'm trying to dial in and get ready for practice tomorrow. Was it cool to be down? Yeah. Summertime shy. It's the best.
You're not allowed to use these press conferences to push your agenda, okay? You're not allowed to do that. I am now banning you from trying to push your stay in Chicago agenda in the press conferences. You're leading Cole into it.
It was one of my more brilliant leading into questions, but he agrees. And I said it with a smile because I've been going up to Cole in the locker room for the last 3 years, and he's like, oh, so you're a stadium guy. Before Cole came and became our best buddy here at CHGO, it was, I would be doing one-on-ones with him, and because he's a Chicago guy, I would talk stadium with him. Mm-hmm. Because of course Cole wants to be in the city. Now they pressed him out. He's like, I'm not getting involved on that. I'm sure they could build a really nice stadium in Arlington Heights. But deep down, he wants to be in the city, baby.
No, because then there was 2 follow-up questions where he said, You see Kevin Warren and what they're trying to build, and he named like Allegiant Stadium. He named SoFi.
Yeah, they're going to build a nice stadium in the South.
Not building that on the lake.
Oh, you kidding?
You need to just let go of it, my friend.
I ain't letting go. And in fact, we're going to play a cut from Brandon Johnson coming up here in a little bit, which Steven has somewhere.
Somehow he's finagled this show into a stadium show, and you know there's nothing I hate more than that.
Well, that's because Huss wants to talk about it, and we just got a $100 Huss on a Sunday. Huss out of nowhere, having a Sunday. Thank you, Carrie. $100 super chat from Carrie. Let's go. Keep rolling, boys. It's time. Well, it's getting closer, baby. It is certainly getting closer, and the Dolphins will be here
and we will
a week from today.
We will be rolling with Carrie Huss in Vegas. Compliments of True Fan Travel. And like Carrie, if you want to sign up for that trip, you go to truefantravel.com. We are going to Vegas for the Bears-Raiders game. September 28th is game day. We're going to be getting there on Friday, all-inclusive, where you get 3-night stay at a premium hotel. You get tickets to the game, which are not easy to come by, private parties and VIP parties and tailgates and live post-game shows. We're going to be doing the whole thing, so come to go to truefantravel.com. Come to Vegas with us. You'll get to hang out with our good friend Carrie Huss.
And by the way, also go to ALLCITY.com and sign up for our golf event on August 24th. I need somebody to play with me. Okay, final quick timeout here, and when we come back, it was interesting. The mayor was on WGN Radio earlier in the week. So the fine folks over there, Kevin Wells, sent me a clip of it. So I thought it was just interesting. So we'll play that on a day that the Bears actually played in the city. And then let's get you set up for, what's coming this week, some shout-outs to people. And we need to apologize for yesterday. Somehow, some way, I think it was Braggs' fault. We didn't do super chats. Actually, it was my fault, 1,000%. So we kept them. Anybody who sent a super chat in yesterday, we got you before the end of the show today. So stick around. But first, shout out to our friends at Mando, head to toe Mando. Look, if you were at Bears Family Fest today and you were sweating in the sun, you needed the Mando 4-in-1 acidified cleansing bar. It's a shampoo, it's a face wash, it's a body wash, it's a deodorant, all the same, all in one bar. Simplify your whole hygiene so you can just take care of
Didn't even need to shower.
Yeah, I mean, just
so I didn't.
Save space in your bag if you're coming with us to Vegas. This is a whole big, beautiful thing. Look, 12 hours after shower, the average men's grundle, it ain't great. Mando wants to help you out with that. The Mando Starter Pack, perfect for new customers. Solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice. Exclusive offer for you, 20% off site-wide with the exclusive code CHGO. Use that code at shopmando.com, SHOPMANDO.com, 20% off, head to toe, Mando.
That's right, and got to give a shout-out to our friends over at Ray CDJR. New vehicles are in store at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and this is your chance to score a great deal at the Employee Pricing Plus sales event. Right now, lease the new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab for only $399 a month for 27 months, plus shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. The expert team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey, just like Carms. They prioritize affordability. You know you won't overpay for the vehicle you need, and with Ray's Price Promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons and no hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. It's just that simple. So for more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. Shout out Ray Scarpelli.
Shout out Ray Scarpelli, indeed. Steve and I did not hear what you just said. But, we got supers to the moon here. Oh, who's this guy? Carm's Poops Takes?
We'll wait for Carm's Poop Take, even though we hear a lot of those throughout the. Yeah, I know. We can wait. We're not derailing the show for your poop takes, which already derail the show enough as it is.
You're supposed to be nice to me.
I am nice to you, but we're not going to talk. He wants to talk about the Cubs. As much as I'd love to.
He does?
Yeah, we're going to wait.
Okay, we'll wait on that.
We'll wait. Let's get to your Brandon Johnson audio. We'll get back to you guys. We really appreciate everyone's support.
Yeah, thank you. For real. Carm Poop Takes, I love you. You too, Huss, with the second 50. We'll get to that, and we're going to talk about the left tackle competition too. But this was interesting. Brandon Johnson was on WGN Radio, where I've worked forever, and where Kevin Wells works. He was on the morning show with Bob Surratt and Steve Krasanich, who does the news over there. They asked him some questions about Soldier Field, whether it was completely dead with the Bears. So I thought this was interesting because I guess he ain't giving up. See here, let's play it here as the Bears were at Family Fest at Soldier Field.
Mr. Mayor, good morning. I want to ask, has the city of Chicago resigned itself to losing the Chicago Bears? By all appearances, it seems the Bears have moved on to focus on Arlington Heights for a new stadium. And specifically, have there been any talks? Are there any talks planned? And if the team moves, what does the city look like without the Bears?
Well, look, the Chicago Bears belong in the city of Chicago. I've been, very forthright in, my desire to work with the Bears organization. As you know, the only person who ran for office, who, made the compelling argument that the Bears, do belong in the city of Chicago. Look, they were prepared and willing to put billions of dollars of their own money into the stadium. A stadium, by the way, that would be privately financed primarily and publicly owned. We still have some work to do, the organization in Springfield, to be able to walk our legislators through, all of the different options that we do have to keep the Bears in the city of Chicago. My door is still open, and, I'm not one to ever give up. As far as, what the city, looks like, there's all the good reasons why the Bears should stay in Chicago. We were talking earlier about just perception. Look, we had a 22,000 increase in terms of population. The first time we've had population growth, $20 billion of tourism dollars. Our airport, particularly O'Hare, has breaking records. So more people are traveling through our airports than what we've seen in forever, literally breaking records, hundreds of thousands of folks coming through the city of Chicago. And so there's clearly a revival, if you will, that's taking place. So I'm going to continue to keep my door open, working with the Chicago Bears to make sure that 100-year story is able to exist for the next 100 years.
So there you have it. He's still, at least publicly speaking, hoping that it's going to happen and underlining the positive things that are going on in Chicago. And, of course, I'm not surprisingly, I'm seeing a ton of comments just trying to trash on Brandon and the city. Look, and you could say that was all politicians speak. The fact of the matter is, when it comes to the city, I'm just going to put this out there. I bought a condo in the South Loop. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that about 3 years back. And then I got in a relationship with my beautiful girlfriend, Jackie, and she lives in the suburbs, and her kids are in the school district, and I had no choice in this matter if I wanted to be in the relationship, so I had to move out to the suburbs. That was the choice, and I did that because I love her and all the things. But so 3 years later, I sold my condo in the city. Did I make money on that condo? Yeah, I did. You know why? Because the city of Chicago ain't dead. Because people are living all over the city of Chicago. They're living in the South Loop. They're living in the West Loop. They're living in Humboldt Park. They're living where we play the softball. So this whole narrative that the city is crumbling, it's just not true. It's not actual to what's happening. So,
people that say that are people that don't live in Chicago or Illinois.
What's that?
People that say that are people that don't live in Chicago and don't live in Illinois.
It's just not accurate to what's actually happening. So now a whole other story is getting, what I've proposed a zillion times is that the city of Chicago, who needs money desperately, should sell the land to the Bears for a lot of money and tax the living hell out of them and recoup some of the costs. It'd be a lot better for the city and the state because all you're going to have is an albatross of $1 billion stadium that's going to just get taken. It's going to cost $1 billion to take that thing to the ground, which is a nightmare. But anyway, the mayor's still out there doing his best. I understand that it's 98% done that they're going to Arlington Heights, but there's the mayor. Still fighting the good fight at the end here.
Okay. You got that out of your system?
Yeah, I got that out of my system. That's it. All right. Left tackle. Braxton, we'll wrap up with Bears.
Yeah, let me get to this.
Yeah,
because,
go ahead.
Because we talked about it yesterday with Adam Johns, right? On his hit, on our post-practice breakdown of camp number 9, practice number 9. Today's practice number 10. Yesterday, full pads at Hallis Hall, practice number 9. Ozzie Trapillo gets all the reps with the first team for the entire practice. Braxton Jones, all the reps with the second team.
Right.
They come on afterwards. Everyone keeps saying Declan Doyle, whoever you want to say, Ben Johnson. They all continue to say that this is still a competition, right?
Yep.
And everybody's getting an even shake, right?
Yep.
Well, then to me, the tell would be, okay, then Braxton Jones should get all the reps with the ones today.
Got some.
He got some. They rotated in and out.
Yeah.
First team drills that they did with first team offense versus second team defense, Ozzie Trapilla was the first left tackle to get reps with the ones.
Yep.
The final series of the day, 2-minute drill, first team offense versus first team defense, Ozzie Trapilla was the left tackle.
That's right.
Braxton Jones did get some first team reps today, but he was rotated in and out with Ozzie Trapilla. So as I said yesterday, they can say whatever they want in terms of a competition at left tackle, but what they're doing is giving Ozzie Trapilla a ton of reps at left tackle with the first team. So I just believe at this point we are getting closer and closer to the day that they're going to announce Ozzie Trapilla is your left tackle for the Chicago Bears. I think it's as clear as day.
Yeah. Well, I think you are leaving out one part of it, and that is that Braxton is still working his way back from injury.
That's part of my calculus here for sure.
But yeah,
it's not that Ozzie is far and away like this is a runaway winner.
Right, but I'm saying that the amount of reps that they can put on a guy who's dropped weight because of the serious injury, who's now trying to put back on weight and who's trying to get out there and show he can play, but yet they're trying to really thread a needle here in how much he can handle on his recovery here. So I don't think they fully ruled it out that because of his experience and the level of success that he's had, that he still might be better than a rookie coming in. Now, to your point, though, if I was going to bet, I would bet on Ozzie. I think he is ahead. I think they absolutely. It would be it's way better for the Bears. Way better for the Bears if Ozzie Trapilla wins this battle. What are you going to do if it's not Trapilla and it's Braxton? Well, what are you going to do at the end of the year? Pay Braxton after he's gone through a major injury and just bet that he's going to be healthy the rest of the way? That's not an easy decision to make. It's much better if the rookie who you traded back but spent a number 56 overall pick on can actually do it. That's way better financially, and it's just way better. It's much more easy to plan. So they want it. They absolutely want Ozzie to be able to do it. The question is, can he be able to do it?
Well, and Ozzie today had a couple bad moments where he got beat on the outside. He also had some good moments, at the end of practice where I felt like the offense was starting to respond, where protection looked good, especially on that 2-minute drive. I thought the protection held up well. But there was, today, again, Dennis Allen, theme of the day, was how well the defense played. And I know we're just so hyper-focused on the offense. It's kind of human nature with Ben Johnson called it a sloppy day today. He's talking about the offense. He wasn't talking about the defense. And the defense was creating this havoc, by dialed blitzing that I think creates trickle-down effect where it challenges a guy like Ozzie Trapilla on the outside. And there was times where he lost his man, right, around the edge. So, but at the same time, if Braxton Jones got fully healthy and got to his playing weight, he's still a flawed left tackle. We've seen this over the years. I'm not trying to disrespect the guy. He's admirable career for what he's done so far, came in as a 5th-round pick, but it's not like we're talking about a guy that if he got fully healthy and he got back to his playing weight, that he's this great left tackle that Ozzie's not going to be able to beat out. Like if they were even just from a health standpoint, Braxton would still be fighting this fight against Ozzie.
Yeah, listen, if you had to make a bet on what the rest of Braxton's career will look like, and by the way,
I went like that in the mic. I shouldn't have done that.
Okay, sorry. I didn't notice. Now I've underlined it, which is probably even worse that I just did that because I saw Steven laughing at your cuteness.
He looked at me and was like, it's just one of those looks from Steven because he knows I produce shows too, and he looked at me like, you're an idiot. You know better. But I don't know better.
That was exactly the look.
Right. Yeah. He knows I don't know better because I am an idiot.
Well, what I was saying about Braxton is after I got derailed by your snot nose, congratulations. There's medicines for these things. But, look, most likely Braxton is going to have a long career in the NFL as a swing tackle and is a great guy in the locker room and can step in and play left. And I think I would assume he can be able to learn to play right, and he'll make a good amount of living. And I think he's hopefully has a long way to go in the NFL. I'm certainly rooting for him. I'm a huge fan of Braxton Jones. The Bears, it's pretty clear, are in love with Ozzie and want Ozzie to do it. And Ozzie seems like a great guy, and he's putting his head down and doing all the right things. What's also a bummer is that, Carman now has missed the last 2 days of practice. Bill Murray was out today with the right ankle. Ricky Stromberg's got a concussion. So you got some banged-up guys on that offensive line right now.
Jonah Jackson, too, right?
And Jonah Jackson, but he was back today.
Right, but he's been rotating in and out with Ryan Bates because at one point when the first team offensive line was out there, Ryan Bates was out there, and Grady Jarrett completely plowed through the middle of the offensive line and got to the backfield immediately. Yeah. So you're starting to see who's up front? Oh, there's Ryan Bates. Well, didn't go so well.
And again, one of the big reasons why there is Bear optimism right now is that the offensive line was reworked, and the hope is that the quarterback will have time back there, and Caleb will not be running for his life like he was last year. Also, we'll get rid of the ball quicker too. All these things. So, but if the offensive line is makeshift and not healthy, that would be a problem. But hopefully it won't be. Jonah's going to get ready. Ozzie's going to be the rock that you're hoping that he will be, and Joe Tooney's Joe Tooney. Drew Dahlman's going to snap it perfectly, and Darnell Wright's going to all of a sudden be better. All right. Yes.
Yep. Just want to give a shout-out to our diehards here, and make sure you become a diehard at allchgo.com/diehard. Hit the QR code on your screen as we officially hit overtime. OT here on the CHGO Bears podcast. Make sure you hit the like button for us. Appreciate you hanging out.
Hey, Big Dave, what song would the Bulls play back in the day at the stadium when it was a tight game late and it was a timeout and maybe they were going into overtime? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? Do you have that in your arsenal? Okay, so that was, yeah. What about when you were when it was nervous energy and maybe you were up one and it was a timeout and they had the ball and you felt dangerous, like it was. Yeah, we had
said rock and roll. The guesses were rock and roll part 2 and final countdown was the Pistons. He said
right. So
it
was right into the danger zone. Yeah, Kenny and it was like they did it like right on cue, and it made you so nervous. And it was the greatest. I you know what I did today to start the day? That's right. I watched Bulls Clippers 1985 on YouTube before I left the house. It was amazing.
It's did you have a stroke? Like that was like the most random.
Because it was overtime. I thought of overtime.
Okay. And thank you for connecting the dots, because I'm over here like, where did this come from?
The Little Wasted's got it. It's because we went into overtime, and I was like OT and nerves and danger zone.
Okay.
And my childhood.
It is when you get to the meatball meltdown hour. It is the danger zone here.
It is the danger zone.
CHGO Bears
Okay,
podcast.
so yesterday we messed up and we did not hit all the super chats. So who do we mess up with yesterday? We apologize to one and all. So let's hit them. Oh, Derek Jewett. How did we not? Our NASCAR guy. Still recovered from the race win. Love you guys. Congratulations. Congrats on the win. Our CHGO NASCAR guy.
Yeah.
Always on Instagram with the giving us love. Samson Goudreau, $4.99 from yesterday. Gentlemen, we went from Mike Glennon tutoring our young QB to Case Keenum. Oh, how far we come. That's a great point by Samson.
Not only that, but they paid Mike Glennon like $80 million and tried to start him games too. So that was like, when they signed Mike Glennon, thank you for bringing that name up, because that was easily one of the worst days of my Bears fandom life. It really was.
The giraffe.
That was just awful.
Well, he went 1-3 in his 4 starts. It was sweet. Then they put Mitch out there when he wasn't ready. That was a great job.
I was at the one win against the Steelers in overtime. Tariq Cohen, still never forget. They said his foot was out of bounds, and it wasn't. It should have been the greatest walk-off touchdown in overtime history for the Chicago Bears.
And that's why you love Gregory P. Allen Braggs right there, because he was at that game, the one Mike Glennon win. Mason Day, $5. Went to Vikes camp yesterday, got to see JJ miss multiple receivers and get picked off bad in 11-on-11. Had some good balls, but they don't look scary. Mason, I'm right with you. The fact that I'm seeing posts about JJ McCarthy, 5 interception day. I'm like, oh, sweet. This is exactly what we need.
Well, I mean, you talk about throwing the kitchen sink at Caleb Williams and Dennis Allen, really dialing up blitzes and stuff and making life hard on Caleb Williams today. Imagine what it's like for J.J. McCarthy and Brian Flores every day.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm sure Kevin O'Connell has, empowered Brian Flores to make it as uncomfortable as possible for J.J. McCarthy to get him ready for a defense like Dennis Allen's and the Chicago Bears coming up on Monday Night Football. I think, we'll talk about the Vikings game here going forward. I can't wait for that game to get here, but that is going to be an interesting matchup with a rookie quarterback coming into Chicago. Hometown kid, too.
And $10 yesterday from Crystal. Hey, everyone. Want to give a shout-out to Dominic, a diehard who came to camp with me today. That was actually yesterday. It was great hanging out with you today. Hope you enjoyed it. Great job, guys, and bear down. So I saw Crystal and Dominic at the practice yesterday. Dominic was just absolutely dominating. Dude was in full Dominic, and Crystal was leading the way. And now she's paying $10 to tell everybody how awesome Dominic is. Also saw Crystal today with Rachel, her amazing daughter. Did they ever find you?
I didn't find her today. I'm a bad friend.
She literally came to find you, and I told you to text her, and you didn't?
I tried. We tried to link up. It didn't happen today. I promise it'll happen one day.
It's a bad job by you. That's on you.
I saw her at camp.
She wanted to sit with you today. You just left her and Rachel, whatever. They seemed like they had a fun time. I walked back across the 18th Street Bridge in the amazing city of Chicago.
Enough to herd, my mom and my wife and my daughter and my son Steven, and we're, it's like herding cats. Like, to get, it's hard. So I apologize.
Do I need to bring up that picture of you on After Dark again?
No, I don't.
Yeah, okay. Not your son, Steven.
We got one more, Steven. Did I just see one more on there? 2 more. Troy Schilker. Troy Schilker. You're the man, Troy. Schleicher. That's an L before the I. Okay, great. My eyes are going. That's good to know. Would you guys bet on Loveland or Komet to have more yards this season? Feeling like Loveland is a sleeper in fantasy tight end. LOL. I think most of us would say Loveland, but with Ben saying today that Cole is Johnny Reliable, I don't know, man. That feels kind of coin flippy. Cole's going to get the ball, too.
Right, and there's going to be a welcome to the big leagues moment for Colson Loveland, how much he can adjust to NFL defenses in the regular season. The assumption at this point feels like it's Colson Loveland because of the routes they're going to be asking him to run. But, I think let's not underestimate the, process of a rookie tight end acclimating to the league. There's a lot of responsibilities a tight end has beyond just running routes.
Yeah. And last one from yesterday, Jason Ullman. Ullman? Let's go with Ullman. Became a diehard last week so I could snag that badass Hogan John's hat. But I've been listening every day this summer, and I'm ready for some W's this season. Can I get a shout-out, Carm? Jason, you know what I love about you?
Oh, boy. What do you love about Jason?
Well, it's kind of endless because he's
it's not endless because I'd like to go home.
You want to go home? Well, let me tell you something about the Ool Man. The Ool Man, he makes you ooh. It's like, ooh. Wow. Made an amazing meal tonight. And then it's like, ooh. What an incredible catch by Ool Man. Ooh. Phenomenal take by Ool Man. Ooh. Got the hat. And ooh. Still loves Carm, too. Ool Man, you are a credit to the diehard community, and you're my number one guy today. Love you. Thank you.
Great.
You still here?
Barely.
Can we get Carm's poop steaks in here?
They've been here
Carm's
for years.
Poop takes. You're supposed to be nice today. I may have the wrong chat, but can the Cubs start letting their pitchers bat and we DH PCA? Because he stinks, turning into PCK. I'm getting nervous about the Cubs down the stretch. Okay, Johnny Cub, you want to address Carm's poop takes?
I mean, that was a terrible take, but I understand the frustrations. The Cubs have been a maddening team for about a month and a half, and I know that sounds super spoiled because they have one of the best records in baseball, but they have not been playing well lately, and today Justin Turner had a walk-off against the Orioles. They sorely needed because yesterday they blew a 3-run lead in the 8th. Cubs are in a pennant race. Make sure you tune into CHGO Cubs because it's going to be fun and also very stressful down the stretch, and that's what we all ask for as fans is to be super stressed out on our team trying to make the playoffs. And hopefully we feel that same stress with our Chicago Bears as we enter November and December.
All right, last one, $50 from Huss. Shots on you Saturday night, Braggs.
You got it.
We'll end on that because you do got it. And
I got you.
He's just – no one thinks less about what's in his wallet than Gregory. He's happy to pay for everything because he's just that great of a guy. And we have it's another $100 one? Oh, wow.
Carrie.
Huss with a $250 day today? That's amazing. Carrie, thanks so much for the support, man. As per always, $100 more. It's going to be epic, boys. Yes, it is.
No doubt.
Yes, it is.
Cannot wait. Already gearing up and making plans for that weekend, jamming as much as we possibly can into it.
And let's get Michael Renouf in here at 199. How did Tyson Baygod look? He looked like the Baygod that he is. Beautiful pass to J.P. Richardson. Had an unbelievable little deke. And then finding Durham Smythe in the flat for a touchdown. Looked like the stud that he is. My guy. He was fantastic today, as he's been all training camp. And last one from Joey Sangwich.
It's my guy, Joey.
Today they ran 3 safeties, 2 linebackers, and only 3 defensive linemen. Other times they run 3 safeties, 4 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker. A lot of fun packages.
Right. I thought that was a really good underlining. I asked Steven to highlight that. But, yeah, you're seeing a lot of different formations and stuff from Dennis Allen. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, today's Family Fest, so things are but still, I just find that notable as well.
I'm leaning forward because the entire office is here for some reason on a Sunday, and they look like they're ready to do a show, so we got to go. SummerSlam is coming up.
SummerSlam.
Keep it right here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. SummerSlam, Mario's dropping the elbow. He's playing softball tomorrow night. Shout out to Kevin in the store. We'll see you out there. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We are back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Me and Hogue. No practice tomorrow, but the Bears are talking, so we'll talk to you at 1. Thanks for watching.